Hello everyone, Farrukh Nazir from the Department of Education, Hazara University Mansehra is here. So today we are going to discuss observing, teaching and learning in the classroom, the preliminary visits. So let's begin. So this is the overview of our presentation. So first I will be discussing the what are the preliminary visits, planning for the preliminary visits and guidelines from the for the preliminary visits, and then the professional courtesy in teaching practice. The preliminary visit. So the preliminary visit will enable you to acquaint yourself with the classroom environment, with the school and with the teachers, and what are the rules procedures in the classroom. So in the visits the preliminary visit enables the student teacher to do the following: to meet the head teacher, the cooperative teacher, to become acquainted with the class or subject teacher, to see the school students he or she will be teaching, to get to know the nature, layout, and resources of the school. Planning for the preliminary visit. So, student teacher must plan for the preliminary visits so that they go into the school with an agenda for information. It means like that you should have preparation for like what you are going to do in the school or in the classroom. So you will have a kind of a roadmap or framework at what you are going to do in the classroom, or how you are going to interact with the students and teachers. Considerations of exactly what they need to know about the school, what they need to gather and collect from the school, whom they need, familiarization with the school by exploring the school website, prospectus, etc. So, like before going to the schools, the student teacher need to familiarize themselves with the school, like its locality, and like what are the mission and the goals of the vision of the school, and they can learn these things from the school website, or if there is like website is not available, the school's prospectus. Every school has a prospectus, so it will be a valuable document to look to go through before the scheduled visit. So, guidelines for the preliminary visit. So, what are the like specific things you are going to do in your preliminary visit? So, preliminary visit is an important aspect. The preliminary visit can be like for one day, or for 1 week. So, focus on the following: the physical features, like of the building, the school in general, its philosophy, grouping of students, schools, significant people and organizational matters, the classroom, control and discipline, rules, routines and protocols, resources, record keeping, timetabling, curriculum organization and planning, teaching and learning styles used, accessing resources including computers, libraries. So these are the main aspects that the student teacher need to focus during the preliminary visits. So let's go through these uh, aspects one by one. The physical feature. So investigate the surroundings of the school, the building, the buildings, businesses, geographical locations, housing. So and observe the layout of the school, like how the school building is designed, what what are the main characteristics of the building. Find out where the head teacher's room is, the staff room, the general office, and assembly hall are to be found. How is their timetable used? What are the room? How are the rooms numbered? Is the school a single story construction? Draw a rough plan of the building. So then you can acquaint yourself with the school. So for example, when I was like when in the US in my master's program, so when I got permission to observe classrooms, the fifth grade classroom in a school, so my first on my preliminary visit, I I drew on a page. I drew a kind of the a layout of the school and then the classroom. So and I tried to notice all the aspects like the rules and procedures, like how where the principal office is located. So these aspects gave me like an overview or a broader perspective of the school. It's like procedures, like how the teacher and student interact. So these are the kind of important aspects. So the next aspect is the school in general. Find out how many people there are in the school, the size of annual intake of the school, like how much admission they give in each year. Observe the prevailing atmosphere in the school, like make provisional assessment of the following: quality of relationships between the head and the staff, between staff and students, and among the staff themselves. So these are different levels and different aspects of the relationship or the interaction that takes place between different peoples in the school. So next is the observe the prevailing system of control and discipline operating in the school. What are the school rules? For example, like take notes of these aspects, like are there do's or don'ts? Who decides the rules, like whether they are decided by the principal or maybe the group of the administrators, or only the principal is deciding the rule of, or all the teachers are participating in the decision making process. So you need to observe these things. How explicit are they? Do all members of staff enforce them? What rewards and punishments are used? Who determines them? How effective are they? Which rules are broken? And how often? How are the more extreme forms of misbehavior, like classroom violence, handled? So, during your visits, you need to use all your five senses in order to like effectively observe the school, the classroom, and the major routines that takes place in the classroom. Because like sometimes things are explicit, and but sometimes the things are like not so clear. So you need to use your five senses to make sense of what is happening in the school and the classroom. Find out what's the school philosophy of education is. The school's philosophy may be voiced explicitly in the school's prospectus, mission statement, and website, or it may not be voiced explicitly. So, every school has some kind of vision and mission, and they adhere to, and every school has kind of some teaching philosophy. They their main purpose, so for which they struggle, and all their teaching, learning, and other aspects of schooling revolves around. So the documents to look for is the prospectus, and but if these things are like not explicitly written, so the following aspects can help to like get an idea of the school's philosophy: the organization of the school and the lessons, like how the school is organized, how the lessons are delivered, like what what approach is there, like do you, the majority use project method or demonstration method, or like a combination of these, are the classrooms teacher centered, teacher is all in all. So it gives you an idea of the school's philosophy. Some schools, for example, foster and encourage competition, other cooperative behavior. Some enforce a school uniform, others do not. Some are restrictive and authoritarian, others, by contrast, encourage autonomy and freedom of expression. So you will have to like observe these things, and it will help you to find out what is the school's philosophy. So next is meet and acquaint with the significant people in the school. So this is the what is the importance of this aspect is that when you will like acquaint yourself with the important people in the school, so they will be like they can give you like a lot of information about the school when you need this information. For example, head teacher and the deputy head teacher, obviously those are the people who have, the head teacher has given you permission to the enter the school. So the teacher in charge of the co-curricular activities, it will give you an idea of like what type of co-curricular activities takes place in the school. Subject coordinators, obviously like you will be working with, maybe working with those peoples like to learn about the how they like coordinate the subject. So school mentor and the cooperating teacher, like who will be the your mentor at the school, like, and who is the cooperating teacher you will be working with. Similarly, the school librarian, it can be like a source of information whenever you needs. So next is the classroom routines. Like if you're assigned to a classroom, like classroom number, classroom grade 5 or 6 or 4, whatever. So what are the routines? Like use the following points to discover the rules and routines governing the classroom behavior of the pupils. Is it the standard practice for pupils to stand up at the beginning of the lesson, choose where they sit, go to allotted spaces, work in self selected groups, help each other in their work, expect not to consult each other, put hands up before speaking to the teacher, speak directly to the teacher, butting in at any time? So few more aspects, but these are the important things that you need to observe in your visits to acquaint yourself with the schools and the classroom routines and procedures. So be silent when the teacher begins to speak. Is it the practitioners in the classroom to carry on with what they are doing when the teacher speaks? Leave the room on own initiative, move about freely during lessons, compose their own notes, copy notes from the board, be expected to have with them pencils, rulers, rubbers, etc. Be allowed to borrow these items, be allowed if they finish early to get on with homework. So These are the important classroom routines. So, understanding rules, protocols, procedures, and routines. So, rules and routines at different points during the lesson, like how the teacher begins the lessons. Like, does teachers ask some preliminary questions, or teacher starts the lesson with some activity or with a group work? So, what are what are the procedures and routines, like at different points in the lesson, like the transition from the introduction to the lesson, like how the teachers do the transition, and what happens during the lesson, like whether the teachers like ask students to work independently, or they are asked to work in groups and help each other, or do teachers take some kind of quiz during the lesson, or how the teacher the how what are the strategies that teacher uses to like motivate students and to keep students on track. So these are the important things that you need to notice in your visits. And what happens towards the end of the lesson, how the teacher proceeds, how the teacher assesses students, and like what type of environment is in the classroom, like is everyone is included, or is everyone is given the opportunity to speak. So next is the recording specific information about the class you will be working with, like the classroom you are assigned. So what information you need to record, the the name of the class, and if relevant the significance of the name, the size of the class, like how many students are there in the classroom, the average age of the class, the band set of the class or range of ability, like how much, like what is the range of the abilities of the students, the names of the students and a seating plan, details of groups, their organizational basis, like why the groups are organized in that way, like what is the reason or the scenario, details of students with special needs, details of students with emotional problems, communication difficulties, physical disabilities, or home background problems. So these these information, who will be the key person that can assist you with these information, the classroom teacher or the your cooperative teacher that you have been assigned, that you will be working with, is the key person that you can like communicate with, and you can ask these questions. So the next thing is like you have to note the timetable operating in the school as well as your own timetable. These details like include lesson details, their times and durations. Like you need to have the in your preliminary visit, you need to like take information on these things. Like you need to note down these details, including like what will be the classroom, how the classroom the whole day will be set up, like organized, the lesson details, their times and durations, classes or class and subjects or activities to be taught or organized, indications of rooms and locations to be used, like whether the all the activities will be going to take place at the in the same classroom, or there is some specific space for organizing activities, at what time students will be going to library, to the playground. So you need to have you need to have details about all these things, and details of other teachers lessons you will be observing, and extracurricular activities that will be taking place. So Up till now, I have discussed the first the preliminary visits, like what's the purpose of the preliminary visit, and then planning for the preliminary visit, like what you need to plan and what will be the your layout for the preliminary visits. And then I discussed some guidelines or some specific procedures to to observe in your preliminary visits. Then now I am going to discuss the professional courtesy in teaching practice. Like you will be in the school, there's like an organization, and it's a social institution, and you will be like working with the teacher, classroom teacher, the students, and the other staff, the head teacher, the librarian, and many other people. So you need to follow some professional ethics. So the first one is, if you're absent, let the school know promptly. That if you're if you have some other tasks that need to be done, or in case of emergency, you need to like let the school know that you will not be available or not be coming to school. On return from an absence, let the head teacher know you are back. Lateness calls, at least for an apology and possibly an explanation. So you need to be in the school on time. So if you are late, so you should apologize with the teacher that you are late, and you're, because if you're like not punctual and do not care about time, so it gives a very bad impression about your work ethics and about your routines. So be respectful to senior colleagues, for example, concerning chairs in the staff room. Be promptly tidy and accurate in whatever administrative work you have to do. For example, registers, like if you're facilitating or helping the teacher in the classroom, so or with the principal, so you need to like be respectful and should timely complete the task that you have been assigned. Maintain adequate standards of dress and appearance. Like you should look, you should dress nicely and cleanly, and that that gives your appearance as a professional. Leave a classroom tidy and the whiteboard clean at the end of a lesson. So you need to like assist the teacher in managing the classroom and in like maintaining the classroom routine and procedure. So this is like not an exhaustive list, but you need to like follow, because there are certain rules that are like specific to one school or area, and in the other area. So you need to like check in with the teacher and ask for the specific routines, so that your visits in the school and your work uh, in the school should give them like a kind of a kind of like an idea that you are a professional and you are going to be a good teacher. So reference, this text is from the book A Guide to Teaching Practice. So thank you so much.